All right, so welcome to the first session of our virtual athletics class. Really excited to spend the next 6 weeks with you all and with my sons. Just again, my name is Coach Josh. I'm one of the coaches at Reality Sports, and it's just an honor to be able to do this with you, to face this isolation together and keep us going strong and staying healthy. So one of the things we do at Reality Sports is we sit down and we actually talk about the Bible and about the hero of the Bible, someone named Jesus Christ, at every workout, because we believe that he actually has something to say about everything that we do, right? And so one thing I want to start with in our very first session is to maybe ask the question, why are we called Reality Sports? Do you guys know? Do you have any idea why we're called Reality Sports?
Because you're reality and then you do sports.
We're reality and we do sports. Well, we are real, but we're not called Reality Sports because of reality TV. What do you think?
Maybe it's because reality for we do things the other way. It's how everyone should do it.
Okay, yeah. So let's talk about this. It's actually really good we're talking about why we're called Reality Sports. We don't have cameras set up, though we do kind of have cameras set up right now for virtual athletics, but Reality Sports isn't like reality TV. That's not why we're named that. That's what we're going to talk about today, is why we're called Reality Sports. And I want to tell you it actually has something to do with Jesus, okay? But we're going to get to that in a little bit. Let me ask this first before you guys answer. I want you to look at this picture. Can anyone tell me, and if you're at home, maybe answer with one of your parents, does anyone know who this is? Haddon.
That's Michael Jordan.
This is Michael Jordan. Are you sure? Okay. Olsen, do you agree that this is Michael Jordan?
Yes.
All right. So let me ask. We might all recognize this as Michael Jordan, right? This is the Jumpman brand. It's on shoes and shirts and shorts and jackets, right? It's pretty iconic. But let me ask, Hattie, you think this is Michael Jordan? Do you believe in Michael Jordan? Do you believe this person is real in this picture? You do? Olsen, do you? Mm-hmm. How about you? Do you believe that this Michael Jordan, this person on this logo, is real? Let me ask you this. Why? Have you ever met him, Hattie?
No.
Have you ever met Michael Jordan?
No.
Olsen, have you ever talked to him?
No.
Have you ever even seen him?
No. On the picture.
Okay, but have you ever seen him in real life?
No.
No. So why do you believe he's real?
Because I see him on TV.
You've seen him on TV? Okay. So we're gonna talk about this, right? So Michael Jordan is a real person, and we believe that because we've maybe seen or heard some testimony or witness about him, right? I actually did a little research this morning. Have a seat. And this is what I found. Michael Jordan played most of his career with a team called the Chicago Bulls. Okay? He won 6 NBA championships. Okay? He was a 6-time NBA Finals MVP. He was the scoring champion 10 times. He was a 14-time All-Star. He was a 5-time most valuable player of the NBA. And many would say that he's the greatest basketball player of all time. Pretty impressive, huh? So this Michael Jordan is real. And so over the next 6 weeks, here's what I want us to talk about. I want to talk with all of us about someone else just as real as Michael Jordan. Just as real as Michael Jordan. Though, like Michael Jordan, we've never seen him. We've actually never talked with him. We've never heard him speak, right? Haddon, can you please sit down? We've probably never seen him on TV, but he's just as real as Michael Jordan, and his name is Jesus. His name is Jesus. I want to tell you a little bit about his stats too. I just read you some of Michael Jordan's stats. Here's some of Jesus' stats. Jesus never traveled more than a couple hundred miles from his hometown called Nazareth. Did you know that? He was never on an airplane, never went on a train. He never traveled further away from his home than a couple hundred miles. He never wrote a book. Jesus never wrote a book. He was never on TV, Haddon. He never got married or had kids, and he only actually lived 33 years before he was hung on a cross. But you know what? listen to this. Jesus is the most influential man that has ever lived on the earth. He's actually even more influential than Michael Jordan. More songs have been sung about Jesus than anyone else in the world. More books have been written about Jesus than anyone else in the world. See, though we've never seen him, though we've never spoke directly and had a conversation with him, no one would argue that Jesus lived, that he worked miracles during his life, that he loved sinners and he taught people, and that he died on a cross. Most will not even argue that he rose from the dead 3 days after he was crucified. And see, we believe in this Jesus, and we even believe that he is the most influential man to ever walk the earth. Not because we've seen him, but because there's other people's testimony about him. We have eyewitness accounts just like we do Michael Jordan. And so I want us to look at today who this man Jesus was. Why would someone with such an unimpressive stat, right? He never wrote a book. He never ran for office. He never did so many of these things like Michael Jordan did, and yet he's the most influential man on the planet. Why do you think that is? That's the question we're going to look to answer today. We're going to look at someone else's eyewitness account of Jesus. And this eyewitness account is written by someone named Paul. Okay? And Paul met Jesus. Paul had a conversation with Jesus, and Paul wrote down exactly what God wanted us to know about Jesus. And I'm going to read you something out of Colossians that's part of Paul's witness or testimony about Jesus, okay? Hattie, are you ready? We're going to read Colossians chapter 1. Here's what it says. It says that Jesus is the image of the invisible God. What that means is that Jesus is the perfect representation of God who we cannot see. And so if we want to know what God's like, we need to look to Jesus to see God. And then it goes on to say that for by Jesus all things were created in heaven and on earth. All things were created through him and for him. Did you hear that? That all things were created by Jesus and for Jesus. And so that means that, Olson, you were created by Jesus. And Haddon, you were created by Jesus. And you at home, every one of you, to include your moms and your dads and your brothers and your sisters, we were all created by Jesus. But here's something that's even more cool than that. We weren't just created by Jesus. Paul is saying in his testimony of Jesus that we were created for him. Meaning we were created to be in relationship with him. We were created to represent him like he represents the Father. And so what that means is you and I were created to be in relationship with God. But you know what? Something happened a long, long time ago with the very first two people who were ever created. Their names were Adam and Eve. And they were created by Jesus, for Jesus also. But Adam and Eve believed a lie that they were the center of the universe. They actually believed a lie that they were created for themselves. That they weren't created for Jesus, they were created for themselves, and that they should do whatever it was that made them happy. And so they actually turned their back on God and they walked away from him. And so when that happened, something called sin entered into the world, and every one of us has been created with this problem of sin. And the problem of sin is actually a love problem. Did you know that? Sin is a love problem. It causes us not to love the one we were made to love. We are created by Jesus, for Jesus, to love him. And sin actually causes us not to love God, but to love ourselves. And that's a problem. Because when we love ourselves, rather than loving God the way we were created, things are broken. And so here's what happens. Jesus creates us for himself, to be in relationship with himself. And so what we would say is that, Haddon, the greatest reality, the thing that's most true about every one of us is that we were created to be in relationship with God, and that in our sin, through faith in Jesus' life, death, and resurrection, we can be brought back into relationship with God, meaning the most real thing about us can be fixed. It can be made whole again. In our sin, we're broken, and we're not living in the reality of how God created us to be in relationship with himself. But with belief in Jesus, with putting our faith in him, we can be made whole, and we can live in the reality of what God created us to be. Paul also says this, that reality is found in Christ Jesus. And so did you know that's why we're called Reality Sports? We want to do sport in light of Jesus. We want to train and compete in sport the way that Jesus wants us to. And he actually has a lot to say about the way we live, train, and compete. And that's what we're going to talk about for the next 6 weeks. So let me ask this question. What does all this have to do with sports and athletics? Why would talking about Jesus be an important part about this athletics class that we're going to do for the next 6 weeks? Here's why. All of us want the real thing, right? All of us want to know what's real and what's true. We want what will give us real joy, not fake joy, right? In the midst of this coronavirus, a lot of us are having to do community through FaceTime and through Zoom calls, right? And as good as that is, it's not real. I know for us, our church is having to do recorded sermons, and we're having to talk with people from church through FaceTime. And as good as that is, it's not as good as face-to-face communication. We desire the real thing, right? And so for us to experience real life and real joy, we need Jesus. And so sports, they don't last forever. They're only temporary. We want to do what we want to do, sport, and we want to do it well, but we also need to recognize that they don't last forever. Without Jesus, sports and athletics are actually pretty meaningless, right? Did you know that no person in their right mind has ever been on their deathbed, right, knowing that they're about to pass on from this life and said, let me see all my trophies again. Let me see all my medals. Bring me my medals because that's what's most important, right? That's not true. On our deathbed, we're considering the things that are most important to us, the things that are most real and most true. And so we're going to continue to talk about this for the next 6 weeks, but I want us to just know that at Reality Sports, we believe Jesus is the most real, true thing the world has ever known. And for us to be most real in our life, for us to understand what's most true about sport and about ourselves, for us to be most whole and to live the way we're created to, we need to know God. And we can only know God through Jesus and putting our faith and trust in him. And so we're going to continue to talk about that over the next 6 weeks. All right? But why don't we get ready to get into our workout now? And we'll see each other again at message time on Wednesday. Let's get ready to work out and have fun. Okay, so we're going to start the workout portion of our athletics class for this day one. And just to reiterate, the goal here is to get some fitness and movement done at home while we're all in isolation. I'm going to have the Breffel boys show us each move, and we're actually going to do the class with you guys. We won't video the whole class. We'll show you each piece. They'll demonstrate, and then you'll be released to do it. And so we'll start now with the warm-up. So today's warm-up is going to consist of 3 rounds, okay? We're going to do 3 rounds of each of these movements, and then at the end, we're done with our warm-up and we'll move into our skill progression. So today's warm-up, 3 rounds, 5 broad jumps. Now, we're going to we're going to demonstrate each of these movements as soon as we're done with this. So 5 broad jumps, then you've got 10 meters of bear crawl. So you'll measure somewhere in your garage or in your house or in your yard, 10 meters. It can either be 10 meters straight. We're going to do 5 meters down and back with the space that we have. We'll show you that in a minute. But you're going to do 10 meters of bear crawl. Then you're going to do 5 donkey kicks. This is one of my son's favorite moves. This is a good one. And so we'll show you that in a minute. And then 10 meters high knees. So at one end, you'll do your broad jumps. You'll go 10 meters bear crawl. Then you'll do your donkey kicks. Then you'll go 10 meters high knees. That's one round. You'll do that for 3 times. You'll be sweating. Your muscles will be warm. You'll be ready to go for our warm-up. Here we go. All right, we're going to demonstrate our warm-up now. Remember, this is 3 rounds of the following movements. Haddon is going to demonstrate broad jumps. Before he does it, here's the things we want to remember. Our feet start about hip width apart. Go ahead and do that, Haddon. They're square, good. His knees are bent a little bit. And then when I say go, he's going to jump as far as he can, jumping off both feet, landing solid, and then going again. Remember, you'll do this 5 times in a row. He's going to demonstrate 2 of them. Okay, go, Haddon. Good, land. Nice. Okay, step to the side. So after you do 5 broad jumps, then you'll do 10 meters bear crawl. So Olson's going to demonstrate the bear crawl. He's going to get down. His hands and toes are on the floor. Knees are staying off. His head stays up. His butt's not up in the air. It's level. His back's staying straight. And then he's just going to walk forward like a bear, keeping that back straight, butt down, head up. Good, and he'll do that for 10 meters. Awesome. Olson, go back to your spot. Haddon, you're back on. Then Haddon is going to do 10 lunge steps. Okay, key to this is keep your head high, your chest high, and you'll take a step out, touch your knee to the ground, step up, other knee to the ground. Haddon, demonstrate a few lunge steps for us. Good, keep your head up. Nice. Knee all the way to the ground. Touch that knee to the ground. There you go. Good. So then you do 10 lunge steps. Then here's the hard one of the warm-up. This is just nice and easy. We're not trying to kill ourselves here. 5 donkey kicks. So Olson, once you get in a position, go sideways so we can see it. Olson's hands and knees are on the ground. When he's ready to go, he gets his knees up off, and he kicks both feet up and tries to touch his heels to his hind end as he kicks up. Go ahead. Like a donkey. There you go. Good. That builds upper body strength. It might be hard. Just practice these as you go. And then Haddon, once you go, demonstrate high knees again. And so this would be 10 meters of high knees. And so good athletic stance. You're just going to basically jog nice and slow, but get your knees as high as you can. Try and touch your knees to your chest. Demonstrate, Haddon. Good. Get those knees up. Nice work. Okay, so our warm-up. 3 rounds, 5 broad jumps, 10 meters bear crawl, 10 lunge steps, 5 donkey kicks, 10 meter high knees. Let's get good and warm. Okay, so here's our technique work for today. We're going to be focusing on the squat. We want you to do 5 minutes of practice doing jack-in-the-box squats. So you're going to go down really, really, really slow like a jack-in-the-box, and then when you get to the bottom, you're going to explode and spring up like you're the jack coming out of the box, and then you'll do it again. And you're just going to practice that with really good squat form, which we're going to go over in a minute and have the Breffel boys demonstrate. But I want you to accumulate 5 minutes of practice doing jack-in-the-box. Okay, so today we're going to work on the squat, and the squat is really important for us to understand because it's kind of the key to all of our movements. Now, a couple pointers for the squat. Haddon's going to be my demonstrator. He's going to want his feet to be hip width apart or a little more. So why don't you step your feet out just a little wider, Hattie. There you go. Toes are pointed forward, okay? Now, with the squat, he's going to keep his head up. He's going to be looking up the whole time. I'm going to have him bring his hands out in front of him, make a butterfly, and his goal is to keep his eye in between the butterfly wings the whole time. The other pointer as he's doing the squat is we want to make sure and keep our heels on the ground, driving our weight all the way down through our heels for our power. So Haddon, why don't you demonstrate a couple squats for us? Head up, good, back up. Now, keep this up here, and I want your eyes to stay on the butterfly, Haddon, okay? Squat down again. Good, that's a better one. Up. Let me see another one. Down, up. Okay, why don't you turn sideways? Let's see it from the side. So same thing. drive through your heels. Keep your eyes up here. Good. There you go. Keep your eyes up on the butterfly. Nice work. One more. Good. Okay, so you'll spend a couple minutes just playing around with the squat technique. Feel that. If you need to watch this as you're doing it, feel free. And then we want you to spend a couple minutes working on jack-in-the-box squats. And so remember, our whole time for this technique session is going to be 5 minutes. Do a minute or two on squat technique, and then the rest of the time on jack-in-the-box squats. So ahead, let's practice jack-in-the-box squats. So he's going to get in his good squat technique. He's going to squat down low, as slow as he can go. And then he gets to the bottom, he jumps up like a jack-in-the-box. Let's see if he can go down even slower this time. Slow, slow, heels, 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 good, slow, explode up. Good, one more, let's go sideways. Okay, so keep your eyes up, slow, 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 explode up. Good, nice work. All right, so set a timer, 5 minutes, work on your squats. Remember, heels on the ground, head up, keep looking up, and then work on jack-in-the-box squats. Have fun. All right, so here's today's workout. We're going to do as many rounds as possible. You're going to see this acronym a lot over the next 6 weeks. It's an AMRAP, which stands for as many rounds as possible. Today, you're going to set a timer for 8 minutes. And so we're going to assume throughout this class that there's at least 2 of you. There's one athlete and one parent who's helping you. So, and then if you have brothers and sisters, awesome. There can be more of us. But you'll have your parents set an 8-minute timer. Okay? At the end of 8 minutes, it'll go off. That means you're done. We're going to do as many rounds as possible in 8 minutes of 5 squats. And so you're going to focus on that good squat technique we just did, but now you're going to try and do it faster. You're going to try and do more of them quicker, keeping good technique. So 5 squats, then 10-meter crab walk. You should have your 10 meters measured out, whether it's 10 meters out or 5 meters down and back. Crab walk, we're going to demonstrate all these here in a couple seconds. Then 5 tuck jumps at the end of that 10 meters. Then 10-meter bear crawl again. And then that'll be 1 round. You'll go back into your squats. Now, you might say, this kind of looks like the warm-up. It does a little bit. There's some different movements, but here's the key difference between this and the warm-up. The warm-up you're doing nice and easy just to get your blood flowing and sweat going. In this workout, I want you to go as hard as you can. How many rounds can you get in 8 minutes? Because here's what we're going to do. As a class, we're all going to comment in the comment section of this YouTube video how many rounds we get. So you'll see how many rounds that Haddon gets. You'll see how many rounds that Olsen gets. And you can comment how many rounds you get. And we're just going to push each other and give it our best effort and see how many rounds we can get in 8 minutes. Have fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to have my son Olsen demonstrate 1 round of the workout. Remember, this is an 8-minute AMRAP, as many rounds as you can. So he'll do a bunch more of these until the timer goes off for 8 minutes, but he'll demonstrate 1 round. Okay, so we've got our 10 meters marked off. Olsen's going to go down 5 meters and back. So he'll do his squats and his tuck jumps on that end as he does his 10-meter movements back and forth. So Olsen, on 3, 2, 1, go. I want you to go 5 squats, 10-meter crab walk, 5 tuck jumps, 10-meter bear crawl. Are you ready? All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. Good squat. Keep your head up. Nice. 2. No, all 5. You got to do 5. 3, 4, 5. All right, 10 meters crab walk. Down and back. We're going to do crab walk facing forward. Good job. When you get to the end, turn around and go back. Good. Keep that butt up. Keep that butt up. Go, go, go. Good work. Now you're going to do tuck jumps at the X. Tuck jumps at the X. Oh, no. You got to finish all the way. Come on. All the way to the X. All the way to the X. Good. Tuck jumps. 5 of them. 1. Yeah, get those knees up to your chest. Good. 2, 3. All the way up to your chest. Get them all the way up to your chest. 4. 1 more. 5. Okay, now bear crawl down and back. Bear crawl down and back. Circle around that X. Good job. Keep those knees off. Keep those knees off. Head up. All the way to the X. Good work, Olsen. Nice. Okay, so that's 1 round. You would keep doing that until you hit 8 minutes. Nice work. Have fun. All right, so here's the game for today, the funnest part of the whole workout. We're going to call it Can Wars. If you have cones, you can call it Cone Wars. If you have empty water bottles, you can call it bottle wars. We're using cans, so we're going to call it can wars. Here's what you do. You need to collect 10 cans or bottles or cones, and you're going to put them at the end of a 5-meter measured out distance, okay? Now, what happens is you'll set up 5 of the cans or bottles or cones upright, and you'll set up 5 laying down all next to each other. Then each person that's playing in the game will start at the end of the course, and when your timer says go, you'll have to run down, and you need to either take an upright can or bottle and lay it down, or if you're the other team, you take a laying down bottle or can and stand it upright. And then you have to run back and touch the X and then keep doing that for 1 minute. So let me explain. Olson would be on team upright and Haddon would be on team lay down. Haddon's goal would be to run and flip every can upright, laying down, and Olson would be trying to flip every can that's laying down upright, but you can only do 1 can at a time. We're going to demonstrate it here in a minute. It will make sense. So you need to do at least 3 1-minute rounds of can wars. If you're having a blast and you want to do it more than 3 times, go for it. Now, if you have more than 2 people playing, you'll have to figure out who's going to play who. Maybe you can do a little miniature tournament, 2 people at a time. That means if there's only 1 athlete in the house, mom or dad, you get to play. So have some fun with it. All right, so here's the demonstration of can wars. Olson and Haddon are going to play part of a round for you. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, go.
Oh, mine didn't.
You better go. Go, Hattie, go. Keep going. Gotta go. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Good work. Oh, no. Get up. Good. Knock it down. Knock it down. Knock it down. No, Hattie, you got to come all the way back. You got to come all the way back. Good work. Nice job. Stand one up, Olson. Okay, time. Good. All right, so just as a reminder, you'll do that for 1-minute rounds. You've got to do at least 3 rounds of this game. At the end of 1 minute, count the cans. Who has the most standing up or laying down wins. Why don't you guys stand up, give each other a Webby, tell each other good game, thank each other. Nice work.